All right, welcome back, everybody, to another episode, Springing into Football. Today we have three of our four original members, and we're very excited that everybody can make it today, at least 75% of our crew, Ralph, Diego, and myself, and then a feature in Call of Call. We've done some features now for the last couple of weeks of the podcast, but we're really excited that we were able to get another one on the show as the season kind of winds down as we get into the postseason. Call, say what's up to the podcast. We'll cue in a little bit later here, but say what's up to the fellow Battlehawks fans and spring football fans alike.
What's up, everybody? I'm Colt to Call. They'll do an intro later. I'm very excited to be here. I don't make a lot of appearances on other platforms with the UFL, but I'm very glad to be here.
Man. It's one of those things. Diego, he has a very, I'd say a very active Twitter presence and social media in general. So he's able to find us features very easily throughout his, through his reach, and we really appreciate that. So so we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. Really another interesting week of football all around. Nothing I can complain about, if I'm being honest. I thought there was really from A to Z, I thought it really went well. We had some good games. We had some games that, just weren't as close. But again, it was really exciting, and I'm really excited, for this last week of the regular season. It's crazy how far we've made it, but we're back. I mean, we're back to that same spot, and it's really a dreaded moment because you think about all the weeks in this season, like all the episodes we've had, all the discussions we've had in the group chats, and all those things. It's slowly coming to an end. I hate to be the bearer of bigger things, but that's what's happening. So, all right. So we'll get into it. So we'll kick it off. Week 9 overall thoughts. So if you guys had anything, just kind of about Week 9 overall thoughts. You can be very general. I'm sure Ralph's gonna have some cool things to say.
Always got cool things to say.
Yeah, a little more out there, right? It's completely fine. But yeah, anybody can kind of kick this one off. Just general Week 9 thoughts. Maybe a little if you had something a little more specific. We'd love to hear those as well.
Yeah, I would like to take the reign here. I just want to say, what the hell is going on with the Stallions? I mean, the DTR he did not have a great game that second half. That was not the quarterback I saw after his first game after Orlando. He's not the star that he looked like. I mean, yeah, they all have their bad games and stuff, but like, dude, it was week 8. Our playoff chances are down to like 11% now. And Houston, our next game, I don't know how that's gonna go. I'm honestly worried about how that's gonna go. And it just begs the question: is AJ McCarron, is he even gonna have another year? But
Probably.
Yeah, just to make us suffer and possibly relocation. Hopefully not.
Ooh.
I mean, attendance has been kind of decent though, so I'm not gonna. Been decent, Birmingham. No, I will say, speaking on both the Stallions and the Battlehawks had every chance to lose that game. I don't know how they ended up winning because Houston. I don't know how they didn't close that out. Houston should have closed that out in the fourth quarter. They had a lot of chances. Birmingham should have closed out Columbus. They had all chances too. And Arlington, they had every chance to come back and win against Louisville, and they just couldn't do anything offensively. There was a lack of momentum on offense. Even when they put Holden Allers in, not Holden Allers, oh my gosh, Luke Lennon. When they put Luke Lennon in, even there was still so little offensive drive. So I think it's going to be a weird Week 10 for some teams.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really surprised that the Battlehawks offense is not even becoming more of a problem. Because the fourth quarter, I was like just watching. It's like, all right, Houston's going to use our weakest secondary to just put us over. But our defense is surprisingly the only thing keeping us alive at this point. But I'm scared to go against Dallas, and I know we've already clinched playoff spot. But I don't know, just going into the final week, our final home game, Dallas defense wants to sack Luis Perez as much. I don't know. We should have lost that game against Houston, but the fourth quarter, Houston's offense just became like, all right, we're just not gonna do anything.
I mean, at the same time, though, I think that is kind of a saving grace for gamblers fans in a way, just because First and I were talking about this on Sunday because we watched the game at Texas Roadhouse together. But it just begs the question, is Kevin Sumlin even going to stay? But also, why was he even hired in the first place? Yet this guy over here, Roth, thinks that it was a good decision to bring him back.
At first, it was a good decision. At first, it looked like a good decision at first, and then by week 5, we were like, "Yeah, why did they hire him?"
He's made some questionable coaching decisions. We can
Okay. Would you rather have Curtis Johnson or Kevin Sumlin? Curtis Johnson or Kevin Sumlin?
With the team the Gamblers have, I think Kevin Sumlin's better.
Oh, really?
Just like with the players they have.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah. No, to be honest, where it went downhill, because remember, they got eliminated this week. Where it really went bad was at quarterback because there was no identity all year. No identity at quarterback. You can't have that in a good team. It's like, yeah, Nolan Henderson's a starter. It's like, yeah, Hunter Deckers is a starter. Yeah, we're signing John Rice Plumlee. He was actually going to be a starter the whole time. Yeah, Twala Tagovailoa is going to play a few games. There was no identity at all at quarterback, and that's where they really ended up like shooting themselves in the foot. I didn't. Not a fan of that.
Yeah, no, I think you landed the nail on that perfectly. I mean, it just really, makes you wonder how's this team going to look next year if they do end up staying in Houston, which is probably going to be the case because
like they gave hope at the last game of the year. There was hope, So
yeah.
But I like if I'm the board of directors of the UFL, I'm like, nah, we're not bringing this team back. But that's me.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think when Diego said we talked about those things at Texas Roadhouse, we were, we had them put it on the big TV before one of the managers came around and was like, guys, there's NBA playoffs, there's NHL playoffs, like, what are we doing here? And so we had a good run. We had it on for about maybe a quarter and a half to, maybe a little bit less than that, but we had quite the awareness. That is now twice that we've had the UFL on actually 3 times because we had the Texas Roadhouse, Buffalo Wild Wings, and then Texas Roadhouse again. So, yeah. So yeah, listen. It was a great week. For some reason, I was thinking that there was a one-sided game this week, but actually there wasn't. All games were within 1 or 2 scores. Really saw a good week overall this last week. Hopefully, I get to catch the last game at 6 p.m. Eastern because I do have something from like 3 to 5. Hopefully, I'll get back and catch that Louisville versus Columbus. I think should be definitely a good one. We'll get into more of that later. But yeah, I'm really excited for the last week of the regular season. It's crazy how we say that every year because it goes, so fast. Getting up to this point. So, all right. We're going to get up to this next point here. Rate a quarterback, okay? Ruff, I remember you used to like doing this a lot. And Colt, what we do for this segment is we just choose any of the 8 starting quarterbacks from this past week. I'm trying to think if this week there was some shuffling in terms of quarterback play. I think there was, maybe Houston a little bit, but maybe avoid them just because it's only 4 of us, and you only have to grade. You can pick any of the 7 out of 8 teams. So just pick a quarterback that maybe stood out to you. What did you like? What did you not like? And then just attach a letter grade along with it. So if anybody wants to start, we can take a volunteer.
So I'll start with mine. I'm gonna obviously talk about my quarterback and Austin Reed. I don't know why I cannot remember.
Luis Perez.
Yeah, my bad. I was getting him and Austin Reed. I'm so tired. Luis Perez. I'm gonna give him a B, just because I still think he has a little bit of an interception problem from all the games I've seen in St. Louis and also now against Houston. I like he's better than Frost, but it still worries me that we're still final week of the season. We're still talking about our quarterback. So I'll give him a B just because of his interception problem so far throughout the 4 weeks he's been here.
Yeah, yeah. What about Roth or Diego? Did you guys have a quarterback you wanted to grade here?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to talk about Hunter Deckers, but I'm having problems finding his stats. It's weird. Hunter Deckers started against the Battlehawks, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
He went
yeah, he did.
4 for I don't know if these are his true stats, but these are what they're showing up. He went 4 for 8 for 51 yards and a touchdown. And I'm like, that doesn't seem right. But I mean, if I were anybody play the whole game, I would give that a C. But I actually watched him play. Those weren't his stats, but I actually watched him. He actually played too bad. It's just the fourth quarter. I don't know what went wrong. But I give him a C, maybe a C plus or B minus. I'll give him a B minus. Give him a little higher grade. But he didn't actually play that bad. I think I like seeing Hunter Deckers. I think he could be a NFL backup quarterback.
Okay. Yeah. He was. I do believe he started, like you said. I think. Yeah, you can see the yardage comparison to John Rice Plumlee is lower because I think Plumlee ended up taking more snaps or reps. So it's kind of why it looks like
why
that.
is Houston doing that?
I don't know.
Why is someone doing that? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I will have to. Hopefully they change things up in this last week. I mean, I know they're eliminated, but just stick to one quarterback. I mean, there's really 2 quarterback systems. That is a 2010s, decade type thing. I'd say let's move on from that, please, for the love of spring football fans, please. Okay.
For the love of Houston.
Yeah, Houston specifically has had some history with that. Okay, all right. I'm gonna get into mine, Diego, if you don't mind, before I kick it over to you. So,
Yeah.
None other than the MVP, Jalen Morton. Okay, all right. That's my guy. Okay, Diego didn't seem not a fan, but anyways, Jalen Morton, my guy. Okay, he absolutely played phenomenal for his first start, and I hate it. I hate that the Aviators, as an Aviators fan, why didn't we do this much sooner? Rob's also an Aviators fan. He also watches arena football. He knows that Jalen Morton is a starter. Like he's a starting caliber quarterback. Like, why didn't we see this much sooner? I have no idea. I'm really hoping they find a way to get him back. And not to mention, Todd Haley was not the play caller on Saturday. It was Bob Saunders. Okay, and so Todd Haley
called a very good game.
Yes, with the exception, I don't think it either was him or Haley. Like I think it was either deferred to him. Like at some point, I think it was Bob Saunders the whole game. But I don't. If you remember that play where the Stallions took it back for a touchdown. When they tried doing the double quarterback pass, like that's I don't know why you do that on 4th and goal, but who knows? I'm not an NFL. I'm not a professional football play caller, so there's got to be something that they're thinking. Mm-hmm. But anyways, yeah, for Jalen Morton, I'll give him a B plus.
I give him an A minus. More of an A minus.
minus.
I would give him.
I think if he started this entire season, I think Columbus would be in a different spot. I think we can all agree with that, right?
I think they would at least have 5 wins because there were games I'd watch Columbus. I don't watch a lot of football this year, I can't be honest, but I watched like a handful of Columbus games, and if they had somebody who can make 1 or 2 throws or 1 or 2 plays, they win those games. So I think that Columbus really could have at least had 5 wins.
Yeah. Yeah, and not to mention if Bob Saunders was the play caller, that could have potentially opened the door for a couple more wins as well. But I'm not. Listen, it's behind us at this point. I give him a B plus. I thought he played really well. No doubt the starter for this Week 10 game. That's kind of why I'm kind of excited to watch it. But it's a shame we're eliminated. We needed. Yeah.
Minus the DUI, I think that Ted Ginn coaching Columbus is actually really good. Like he's like, I'm sticking with my guys, and we've seen it play out all year. And I'm like,
Yeah.
if I'm in charge, I'm rolling with it to next season because it's really looking like it's gonna work out. But you just can't get into the playoffs. So
Yeah, again, it's unfortunate. Yeah, like you said, he turned it around. I mean, he had the DUI, and since then he's been very vocal in his press conferences that he stands up for these guys. He's, willing to go to war for them, as any coach should. But, Ted Ginn is really, for being docked in the preseason that he doesn't have a lot of experience, whatsoever. Playing is different than coaching, obviously, right? But he's really made a name for himself so far, in a very short spring football coaching career. And I'm hoping, like Rob said, he continues that next season. Yeah, and he's had a lot of reliance from his coaches, but that's, sometimes what you have to do. Todd Haley has a lot of coaching experience. Bob Saunders has coached, the DC has coached. So it's like, you gotta put it in their hands sometimes, but that's what makes a good team, right? You have to kind of let some coaches do their thing and kind of establish an identity. So, yeah, I'd be really excited to see Ted Ginn be carried over to next season. So, all right, Diego, last but not least, what do you got?
All right. Yeah. I'm actually going to grade 2 quarterbacks here. I'm only doing this try to save some frustration I kind of have on the first one, which is none other than DTR. I mean, I feel like he played all right in the first half, besides that one interception to start the game. I mean, he had some solid throws. That touchdown to Deion Kane was good, but after that, I mean, he just looked very lost. Just, he tried to get the ball out way too fast. Just was not firm in his decision making. And I would probably give him a D- just because he just looked really bad. And then I want to shift gears to Chandler Rogers, the starting quarterback for the Kings. In that game, I feel like he looked really comfortable. I think he only threw 1 interception and then threw 2 touchdowns, almost for 300 yards. He looked really good, which, I feel like Louisville was just able to control that whole game. Of course, the Renegades almost came back in the second half, but nonetheless, I mean, just how their schedule has gone the last few games has honestly haunted them. I think just how they motivated themselves. I mean, I'm not Neuheisel, so I'm not sure, but I mean, I think Chandler Rogers just looked great. If I had to give him a rating, I would probably give him an A+. He looked really good. I'll get into it later, but I kind of want Louisville to lose next week just so we can somewhat have a chance to get in, which I don't know. I might be a little crazy for thinking so.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Yeah, you know what? It's come down to the last 2 teams, you guys in Louisville. And you're a Stallions fan, you're a diehard Stallions fan at that. You need one more loss from a different team. Obviously, AJ McCarron came out and he said in the press conference, like, control what you can, right? Win this game next week and just that's it, right? Whatever else happens, and you just got to roll with it. So, yeah, totally agree. And, it's been one of those things where, it's been one of those seasons for everyone. It's like, it's been very unpredictable, at least for a couple of weeks. I'd say it really in the beginning was pretty predictable, but then as like the quarterback started to change and we started having trades, the game started to develop a little bit differently. So, yeah, like you said, it's been a wild season, but Stallions definitely need this win, to say the least, on this weekend. So whatever happens with Louisville happens. I think Columbus can give them a good fight, and with Jalen Morton, I think don't count them out. So, all right, thank you everyone for grading a quarterback. We're gonna get into 2 notable signings. I would say one of them is probably pretty notable, but the other one's decently notable as well. Linebacker Anthony Hines was released from the Houston Gamblers, that is, after just wasn't pleased with what was going on in Houston. I guess that's a decision that he'll make. That's a decision we've seen some of those behind the scenes footages where players talk with the coaches and they're like, isn't for me, right? So change of scenery. We saw it with Perry and Winfrey, very similar development earlier on. And so now Anthony Hines lands with his former team, in which we covered a lot of him because he used to be on our awards, very much so. When we used to do awards on this podcast, we used to have him. I would probably say every other week because of how much of a force he was on that defender's defense.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, I think he won awards like 5 to 6 times that season. Just I don't know. He's a standout player. I'm not surprised he ended up coming back.
Yeah. Obviously, he is one of those standout players, and DC's only going to get better. They've already clinched a playoff spot. They've already, done what they've had to do to make the playoffs. So now he's coming in a really good time, and obviously he's stayed fresh. He's been playing football. He's been staying active. So it's like it's a really good fit. Shannon Harris probably knows him very well. And so Blake Williams, I'm sure he knows him a little bit as well. So again, should be a very interesting development. I'm excited to see him play, and hopefully we're right on cue, right? Let's hope he has a good performance here on his season debut with DC. I'm hoping he plays really well. And then the other signing, EJ Perry to the Defenders as well. So that one came out a little bit earlier, like a little before the Anthony Hines news, because Anthony Hines was a waiver claim, and EJ Perry, Jordan Teamu heads over to kind of the IR. He's out for the season. So now you have the 3 quarterbacks of Jason Bean, Spencer Sanders, and EJ Perry. So listen, I'm not opposed to it. They're trying to make some moves. They're already in the playoffs, but again, we'll see how that quarterback room looks. And actually, Shannon Harris said in a press conference earlier today that Bean has given him some good reps, like here in these couple of last practices. So if Jason Bean starts, I'm interested to see how that looks. I'm interested to see, like, okay, was he really utilized over in Louisville? I mean,
No, to be honest, like Bean was dealing with a lot of drops. Okay, Chandler Rogers was not dealing with these drops that Bean was dealing with, because these were like good throws and then they just drop them. Now, what would be more interesting is if, let's say, Bean starts, DC wins their first playoff game, and then they got to take on the Louisville Kings in the championship. That would be so funny. That would be the funniest thing I've ever seen. But also other news we also did miss is the Orlando Storm might miss their home playoff game next week and this next week because of the FIFA World Cup. So that might be a pretty interesting one to see.
Yeah, I would hate for that to happen, but at the same time, we cannot compete with FIFA. We're all ball knowers. We do not stand a chance. So,
and another thing too is that it's probably likely that the league is probably just going to end up hosting the game into whoever Orlando is playing, if they were to host at home, which they can't. I mean, this isn't the first time it happened. I mean, we had that happen in 2024 when the Panthers were supposed to host, but then we ended up hosting. I find it really disappointing. Yeah.
Imagine if Birmingham hosts the game.
Yeah.
Imagine if Birmingham hosts the Storm. And then everybody's talking about DTR this, and then all of a sudden Dorian Thompson-Robinson beats the Storm, and then everybody's like, you should have never traded him. And that'd be the funniest thing ever.
Besides Birmingham, what would they play if Birmingham makes it?
Maybe DC. No, or Louisville. DC or Louisville.
Yeah, it just all comes down to who wins that game.
Or you could play at one of the eliminated teams. This place. Don't mind that either, right?
Like Columbus.
Columbus. I mean, listen, Columbus has packed houses before. I don't know about Houston. Houston wouldn't be a very appealing potential spot, but I don't know. Columbus wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know what those teams, Louisville has soccer going on. That's something that we also should mention, is that the Lynn Family Stadium Instagram page posted like their grounds crew work that they did from transitioning from their women's soccer team to the Kings, like playing home kind of in that back-to-back fashion. And yeah, it was some impressive stuff. We we think about it, very loosely, like as fans, but a lot of these, Mike Rapoli has talked about it. A lot of these teams play at soccer stadiums. There is another athletic season taking place at the same time as ours. So we have to be very careful and be very cautious about, like, okay, when do we go about this? Like, how is this game going to look? And yeah, when I saw the time lapse of that video, I was very impressed. Like, you had the comments going like best grounds crew in the country, and it's just things like that, that really make the game so worth it. Is like we have so many people like putting forth their effort to make sure that we can have such a successful event. So, all right. Sorry, I kind of got a little off topic there, but those signings should be interesting. Again, I don't know how much EJ Perry's going to play. If not at all, I don't really see him playing. I think you're going to need some really bad quarterback play from Jason Bean, who has potentially overtaken Spencer Sanders at this point. So if Spencer Sanders has potentially, if he's not called as the quarterback 2 this week, maybe we can see EJ Perry. I'm sure we won't see him this week. I mean, maybe first round of the playoffs, into the playoffs. But again, I'm not too concerned, with what that team has going. I mean, they have a playoff berth. Jason Bean, other quarterbacks, but yeah, should definitely make for some interesting storylines. So, all right, Ralph. By the way, we did have that bullet point of Orlando potentially not being able to host. It was the very next one, but it's fine.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't even look at it.
I like the combining of the points there. That's all right. Okay. We'll get into the next. We'll get into the one after that then. So, the Stallions and the Kings. We kind of talked about it a little bit, but I'm sure Diego and Ralph and Cole, you'll have a couple other things to say about it. So, Birmingham and Louisville compete for the last playoff spot. I remember ESPN showed a graphic where you had the teams that clinched, or a couple other pages that showed it as well. But the UFL has also come out with something. The teams that have clinched, the teams that are in the hunt, and the teams that have been eliminated. Okay, so at this point, Birmingham, it's a win, and it's not a win and you're in situation because you need Louisville to lose. For Louisville, I think it's the same thing. I could be mistaken. Vice versa, right? They win, you guys lose. Is that correct? Am I getting that
I think
right?
that's correct.
Mm-hmm.
It would make the most sense. I mean, I don't see another reason why that wouldn't. Okay, so there you have it. So if Birmingham wins and the Louisville loses, Stallions are in for the 500 millionth time. They will make a playoff spot. Okay, but then
and we need the defenders to win as well. Don't forget.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Okay, there you go. Okay, so then the defenders need to win as well, and I don't know. I think the Storm are going to give them a good fight at Audi Field. We'll see. Ralph, I remember you talking about the Storm very early on in the season. Just haven't impressed you. Let's revisit that real quick. What do you think?
No, so what it was the quarterback play from Plummer wasn't great. It wasn't great to start the year, and even now it's like throughout 9 weeks it's been like barely above average. Like he hasn't played games like Tiamu or Perez would play. Like he's just playing normal game manager football. I'm not really that impressed. But I mean, like they're winning games and he's finding ways to win games as a quarterback, which is, a very important thing. But he's not playing like an MVP. He's not like playing like Bryce Perkins, He's not playing like hell, like nothing like what Austin Reed was doing through the first 3 weeks. Nowhere near that level. But he's also nowhere near where Austin level's been at the past 3 weeks. So, it's a little bit different. But I mean, like, yeah, they're a great team. They're well-rounded. They know how to win on both sides of the ball. That's why they only lost like 2 games. So, like,
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, he had that big run What did that not impress you either?
That was pretty good. Yeah, that was an
Okay,
impressive
there we
run.
go.
Yes, I saw that. I saw that run.
Okay.
You know who else had a big run? Case
Who?
Cookies. Remember Case Cookies' big run that he had
He just
against?
got inducted into the Northern Arizona University.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Hall
Yeah,
of Fame,
I saw it today, and I was like, man, you just fell off, bro. You just fell out of nowhere. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and something I forgot to mention is that you had EJ Perry as one of your old Instagram names.
Yeah, EJ Perry. What was it? EJ Perry's the GOAT. Was that what it was?
I
remember.
EJ Perry. I don't remember.
Yeah, bro. I just picked the Showboats. I needed a favorite team back in the day.
Yeah.
And then they just happened to really suck. Like they were bad.
Yeah. So all right. Did you guys have anything else on that, Diego? Did you want to?
No, not really. All I'm gonna say is that, don't forget he was with the Michigan Panthers for a while. So when I saw that, I'm like, oh wow, it's one of the very remaining remnants of the Michigan Panthers trying to save the DC Defenders. But
well, he's not gonna save the DC Defenders, bro. So he's just gonna be on the roster.
I don't know. I'll fire him up or something. We'll
find out actually.
Yeah. I mean, all I'm gonna say is yeah, like Ferris said, I know that the defenders aren't gonna go down with a fight, just with how Shannon Harris has established that locker room a bit. But I don't know. I hope that's a good game. But as Ferris has said in the past, it's really hard to beat a team twice with the way they've done the scheduling this year. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I'm really looking forward to that game.
Yeah, and before we move on, I just saw the UFL Kings Instagram page, their playoff scenario. So the Kings need to win versus the Aviators. So if they do that, they clinch. So winning in for Louisville. Okay, you heard it here first. Okay, but for Birmingham, it's different. So then, if the Stallions lose versus the Gamblers, then the Kings also clinch. And then finally, if the Defenders lose versus the Storm, then the Kings clinch as well. So, Diego, this seems like a much more favorable position than you guys. Well, actually, let's here. We can check that. It seems like when we were talking about it, there were two scenarios that were possible. So we'll have to check that later. But you heard it here first. Louisville has three pretty favorable scenarios. If they win, they're in. If the Stallions lose, they're also in. And then if DC loses, they're also in. So listen, that's a good spot to be in, right? Louisville has battled some tough games. They had that very, very controversial game ending. And it changed. It was so controversial, it changed the whole rule in the rule book. So, you can say what it is, but they've dealt with some tough things over the course of the season, and now they're trying to potentially earn this playoff berth first time in franchise history. So they also broke a couple of records this past weekend. Tanner Brown, believe it was either most field goals over 50 yards.
It's the most complete field goals, I think, in the season. I think he's gone 25 for 25, I think, that I saw. I can't remember for sure.
And so it was that, and then the other one I'm blanking. We'll have to check it.
But I wanted to touch up on really quick. Paul, you'll really like this. If I remember correctly, is as long as you guys win against this weekend against the Renegades, and Orlando loses against EC, you guys should be able to clinch home field advantage, which, I think you guys would probably want it to be done the proper way, even if you guys have to go out and play Orlando.
Yeah. Cole, would you be going to that game, or what's kind of the...
In Orlando?
No, if the home field advantage was...
Oh yeah, if Battle has to get a home playoff game, I'm gonna be there. I've been to all their home games so far, so I'm gonna be there anyway.
Okay, yeah.
I'm still questioning if I want to go to the United Bowl.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know if DC's not there. I'm interested to see how the crowd will shape out. We've kind of talked about that a little bit. So, I just found out what the other record was. So most sacks in a season by Cam Gill. Defensive standout, new new single season sack record in the UFL, bringing his total to 10 on the year. So, congrats. And then the other one was most field goals in a season. So, Tanner Brown broke the previous single season field goal record, pushing his total to 25 made field goals. So, and then he earned Special Teams Player of the Week for the second consecutive week during the season. So, yeah, there's been a lot of Louisville's had very good individual play, but sometimes we kind of question how the team kind of forms together. But I think they've really turned it around in the last couple of weeks. And yeah, the ball could potentially bounce their way here for them to sneak in the playoffs. So that's all. I'll cap it off with that. So, okay. Couple minutes before we hopped on this podcast, and actually still going on. Is this still airing? Or did it just...
No, they switched to Savannah Bowl.
Okay. Okay, so I think it was a 7 to 8 like time frame. So yeah, so the 4th and goal documentary. So we saw the trailer, which I thought was very brilliantly well done. We saw that done, and then we heard that the documentary is going to starting to be. It's like a docuserie. I don't know how to say that word. But anyways, it's basically just like a short episode of behind the scenes footage, mic'd up moments and all those things. And today we had the first live look at it on ESPN2. I was just mentioning I was from about 7 to 8 p.m. At least for Central Time, it was 8 p.m. Eastern. So I'm really glad. I think there'll be one other episode. Should really be it should really be a good development. I'm really glad the league is doing a lot of other things, like besides pushing out the fan initiatives and doing all those things. It's great to see them wanting to invest in like entertainment and getting something out for the fans that may not be as invested as ourselves. So yeah, I was really excited when they put that trailer out. I was excited to watch it, caught a little bit of it, but I'm sure we'll see a lot of clips on Instagram as kind of we get closer to week 10. It might be like a coaching moment that might that might resonate well, like that might correspond well with something. So yeah, really excited to see that second episode and just kind of the entire vibe surrounding it. So
yeah,
okay.
No, I saw like the first 10 minutes of it before we got on, and with what I saw, I thought it was really good, and you could tell like the production quality was really up there. I liked like some of like the behind the scenes they're talking about with Mike Rapoli, Chris Redman, and how they had to go through of cutting players, and I think it just really kind of just talked a lot of good bits about Chris Redman's sort of build up to his coaching debut, which I thought was really good.
Yeah, there was a lot of Kings content on there, so I'm glad. We really saw a lot of different teams, but we saw the Stallions as well. We saw a lot of AJ McCarron mic'd up moments. But yeah, honestly, I'm very excited. They kind of took this approach and wanted something a little bit different from our past season. So, all right, we'll get into our we'll get into our Week 10 predictions. Okay, so yeah, for this, so obviously we'll have the full 4-member prediction list, as well as Call of Call, the feature for this week. We'll have your predictions on our post as well. We'll make sure to get that out probably tomorrow, depending on when this video and episode will be published. And yeah, so actually I can probably do a screen share.
Or I have it pulled up right now on my end if you like.
Yeah, if you want to pull it up, that would be.
Yeah, man. All right.
Okay.
Let me see 1 second. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can see it.
All right.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you, Diego, for that. All right, so yeah, like I said, the 4 of us, the 4 of the original members, and then Call of Call, you being the feature, we have your predictions displayed on here as well. Diego, you lead by a game. Okay, so it's actually funny because I think in past seasons when we've done predictions like that, we've kept track. The final week was not like I don't think it was close, or I don't know. I don't quite remember.
I don't
but
think it was, just because, just some of the games weren't as, I guess, close. And then you have to remember, in certain previous seasons, there were some games to where a lot of the teams were already in the playoffs, and they were just, I don't know, just playing some team that wasn't in the playoffs, or they were just playing their backups.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So listen, I think this week we've had sweeps in the past. This week I think it could go either way for a lot of these games. I actually forgot Jalen Morton was the starting quarterback, believe it or not, as the Aviators fan. After I put in that pick, when I sent it to Diego, I'm like, are you serious? Like, Jalen Morton just had the game of his life, and I picked Louisville to win. But hey, Louisville is going to be motivated to win. Columbus is playing spoiler at this point, so I don't know. Could go either way. I'm not really too mad at the pick. It's just it's just kind of something I realized after. So, okay. If one of you guys wants to get into your picks, if not, I can go ahead and start it.
I can kick it off.
All right.
All right. So to start off, for Friday's game against the Renegades, the Battlehawks Renegades, I got the Battlehawks here. I mean, I feel like this one's kind of a no-brainer, just with the way Dallas has been playing. I do believe that Austin Reed will still be in as the quarterback. I don't think they'll really look much different. I would love to see some improvement from Luis Perez, just to try and prepare for the playoffs. And then going into Houston, Birmingham, this one's going to be really interesting. Of course, I'm going to try to pull for my team, because this is our last breath to make it the playoffs. We kind of need a miracle. I would not be surprised if the Gamblers somewhat making close, depending on if we see either Hunter Deckers or Rise Plumlee in the first half. I think that could easily shift the game. And then going into Orlando, DC, pretty much everyone on the list has picked Orlando, but I am the lone one picking DC. I mean, yeah, I think if Jordan Ta'amu was still in, it would definitely be a no-brainer that DC would probably win. But I am pulling for DC. I think having Hines back is definitely a great thing to look at. I don't know, if he'll get a lot of snaps, but I anticipate that he'll probably have some sort of impact. And then going into that last one, Sunday night, Louisville, Columbus. I got the Aviators on this one. I don't know. I think I'm just going against all odds on this one. This could easily go either way. But like Ferris said, I think with how Jalen Morton looked last week, and kind of just how he started to control the game a bit in that fourth quarter, it could go either way. I mean, I could be easily wrong. They could be down by 10, 15 points in the fourth quarter, but I mean, this is our last chance. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep. A week of unpredictability, to say the least. Like I said, we've had sweeps, we've had very close sweeps. Roth, that's kind of an indirect mention there.
That's me.
Yeah, yeah. Every time we think we have a sweep, you just come in and you rake the floor. It's all good. We totally understand, because I think last week you might have been right. I think everybody except you.
I was wrong on like one, but yeah, I was pretty right last week.
Okay. Yeah. Listen, I think it was the Birmingham Columbus game. We all had Birmingham and you had Columbus, I think.
Yeah, that was one.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So again, it's been very unpredictable. I'm interested to see how this week goes. Should be nothing different. Colt or Roth, did either of you guys wanted to go here?
Yeah, I'll go. So with the St. Louis versus Dallas, I'm biased, so I would never pick Dallas. But I just think the St. Louis team, despite the offense, is just gonna pummel DC. Dallas, my bad. Dallas has gone on the deep end the last 6 weeks at this point. They really, from what they were when they started 3-0. So that's why I went St. Louis, despite their offense. Birmingham and Gamblers, it depends on what Houston team shows up. If it's the first half Gamblers from last week, I think they're going to do well. If it's the last half, I think Birmingham's going to absolutely destroy them. And then for Orlando and DC, I think Orlando is just the best team in the UFL at this point. There's really nothing stopping them besides themselves. And also, I would never root for DC anyway. And then Louisville and Columbus. I just like this Louisville team. And then Columbus. I really like what Columbus has done despite their record, but I just think Louisville's a better team.
Yeah. Listen, I totally see the vision for all those picks. I had the same picks as you, so I don't know how much more different I'm gonna have to say, but okay. Great picks. Just because I agree with all of them, but Roth, did you wanna go?
Yep. Let me go next. So I got Dallas versus St. Louis. Now I think that Dallas finds a way to win, or St. Louis finds a way to lose. Okay, I think that's one way it's gonna go. Houston versus. I actually wasn't thinking when I was going with my picks, so I just picked Houston. So Houston's gonna win, and then Orlando versus DC. Orlando's won like almost every game except for when they played Birmingham, which not to spoil, but I chose that one correct. Not to spoil, I chose that one correct. I put the Storm. I put the Stallions that game, but they won that game. They won like all their games, and it's gonna be like a Spencer Sanders game, and it's gonna be kind of weird. And then Louisville, they're playing, they're playing like ride or die, like win or go home. If Birmingham wins, so I'm assuming Birmingham wins. So if Birmingham finds a way to win, Columbus will find a way to. I don't know. Louisville will find a way to win. That's the way I can say it.
Yeah. I see the reasoning. The one thing that kind of threw me off is you said you meant assuming Birmingham wins, like just in terms of like the whole scenario, right? You have
like a scenario, like they just end up winning.
Okay.
Louisville has to play all their starters. But if
okay, that makes a little more sense. Thank you, Diego, for sharing that. I still have to get mine out. That's fine.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. Okay, so for the first game of the weekend, Dallas at St. Louis. I had St. Louis taking this one. I just think Dallas has had they kind of started up on an uphill trend, and then since then they've just kind of hit. They've kind of slid down towards rock bottom. I just don't know if there's much saving that team. And you can make the argument that any of these teams can find a way, but I don't really see Dallas finding a way at the Dome. It's going to be a tough one. Friday Night Lights, final time of the season. So I got St. Louis winning that one. For the second game of the weekend at 3 p.m. Eastern on Saturday, Houston at Birmingham. I have Birmingham winning that one. Houston could potentially upset. Houston's history with Birmingham is kind of what is kind of like making me think that and making you guys think that too. But again, I think Birmingham's going to play well. Houston just really hasn't had a lot of bright spots. They have bright spots at times, but I don't think it's going to be enough to kind of get past Birmingham. For the third game on May 31st, at 11 p.m. Central Time, Orlando at DC. I have Orlando winning that one. Diego, you were the lone exception amongst everyone, including AJ, which is completely fine. I completely see why you would say that. For the Storm, I think they're going to come out. They're going to come out, ready to go. Both teams have already clinched, but it's one of those things like, potentially a little playoff preview right here. Nothing wrong in that, and so it should be some good football. I'm excited for that game. So, but yeah, ultimately Orlando takes that one, and then the final game of the weekend, hoping I get to catch it. It's in its entirety. Okay, I'm hoping I get to watch all of that game, if not most of it. I have Louisville winning. I mentioned it. Unfortunate on my end. I forgot. My team, the Columbus Aviators, have Jalen Morton, who played very well last week. And I'm assuming Bob Saunders is going to remain the play caller. And if he does, I think Columbus has a fairly good shot to win. So But Louisville, in my eyes, will be the winner for that one. So, all right. As always, you can see AJ's picks and all of our picks on the post when we get that out, either later tonight or tomorrow morning. And so, yeah, those are our predictions from spring into football, as well as Colt of Call in our feature. And yeah, we're also gonna playoff bracket for all of our all of our followers that to kind of glance at. We're gonna have those out. We'll congregate in this following week after the games, kind of just go over last minute things. And yeah, playoff bracket was a great idea. Diego came up with it. Shout out Diego. And yeah, we really just all saw the vision. We were all really excited to kind of see it come to fruition. So should be a great thing. And we'll also make a final regular season record post or like a separate slide as well, highlighting who won and showing the records. I think when we did this last time, we kind of had like a 1, 2, 3, 4, like everybody was a separate slide, and then we had like someone send their picture of themselves, kind of make it more like connecting with the followers. So we'll try to do something similar. I thought the last time was very cool when we did that. So I'm really excited for kind of what we have going for our podcast and the league in general here, and as the league year kind of winds down. So, all right, closing thoughts. Anybody? What do we got?
Yeah, just really quick. Just want to announce that the Stallions Aviators game on ABC accounted for over 1 million in ratings, which that's really good to see for week 9. As we know, these these ABC games always do really well. I mean, it's kind of no surprise. It kind of funny enough that it took about like 30, 45 minutes. It was showing softball, and then once that finally wrapped up, that finally tuned in to ABC, which a lot of people, including me, we were kind of upset that that kind of happened. But at the same time, it's May. It's kind of no surprise that these kind of things are gonna happen. But no, I'm just really happy to see the consistency there. I'm really hoping for a strong finish this week 10 as we lead into the playoffs. I can't really say much that I would change. I think it's been a great season.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think it has been a great season for us in general and the league as a whole. And again, I think it's going to be one of those years where we look back at it and we'll be very proud of the league's accomplishments. I think we made so many strides in the right direction. And I'm really excited for the future of this league. Next year, will we have relocations? Will we have new teams? Michigan Panthers has been a floating name. I happen to be very fond of if they were to make them a team part of next year's year. I don't know. I think a lot of our group chat members would be pretty happy about that too. So
take the Gamblers, put them out in Michigan.
The Michigan Gamblers, does that have a ring to it?
Michigan Gamblers.
Really? I don't know. You might just have to call it the Panthers at that point.
Well, just call them the Michigan Panthers. Just move them out of Houston, bro. Just take that team out of Houston.
They want 10 teams by 2028. So add Houston, add Michigan back.
Yeah. We're getting OKC in 2028, and so if that's when Michigan re-enters the league, then we'll get up to the 10 team, the even 10 teams. So yeah, all right. Colt, did you have any final thoughts? If not, all good.
All right. I did not know this so far. The UFO season, it's unfortunately it's coming to an end, but playoffs are right around the corner, so I cannot wait.
Yeah, I got one.
Okay.
Stallions. That's my closing thought.
It's the Stallions.
Just the Stallions?
No, I said Stallions suck.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I think that might have cut out.
There you go.
You're just trying to rage bait me.
I rage bait everybody. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. From all of us that's bringing into football, from all our features that we had during the regular season, for all the scheduling mishaps that we encountered, We want to thank everybody for their efforts. Colt, we're glad that you were able to come on today, as well.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for joining us, as well as any other features that have joined us along the way. I thought we really did some different things this year. I thought we were a lot more visual in terms of our work. I thought we were a lot more communicative when we couldn't go on and when we could go on, and when we had this out, when we didn't have this out. So again, it was a learning year for us. It was a learning year for the league, but ultimately I'm glad we all pulled it together and made it a successful go. So yeah, really excited to playoff coverage. If you're wondering about playoff coverage in terms of the podcast, we'll probably put out 1 to 3 episodes just because there's 3 weeks. Maybe a 4th one if we get into, I don't know. That would just have to be like that would just have to be season 4, episode 1, because that's obviously after the league year concludes. But typically it would be after the first round, and then you'll have an episode there after the championship, episode there, or excuse me. So the first round, the second round, and then the championship. Am I getting that? I'm getting that right. Yeah.
No. Wait.
No. There's 3 rounds.
It's just 2. It's the first rounds, and then it's championship.
Okay. So we'll have at least 3 more episodes, because we have to talk about next week's, and then we have to talk about the first round, and then we have to talk about the second round, and then we have to talk about the winner and the results, and basically just a review of the league year in general. So
yeah.
So if anybody's wondering of kind of how that's going to look, you kind of have that little picture, and we'll also be communicating it. Yeah, go ahead, Ross.
I said no. I got a pretty clear picture on how that's going to look. Yeah.
What do you mean? I mean, you're a member of the pocket.
I understand how it's going to work.
Oh, you mean like the results and stuff?
I understand. No, like how we're gonna do the episodes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay,
It makes sense.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so there you have it. Rob's very familiar with our postseason reporting structure. Okay, so thank you guys for joining once again. Again, we'll have this up in about 12 to 24 hours, depending on when we'll be able to get it out. As always, check us out on Instagram, Spotify, and YouTube. For Call of Call, check him out on Twitter. We'll collaborate with him on the Instagram post, so you guys can kind of go and look at kind of his respective stuff. And yeah, just another great episode. Thank you guys so much, and we look forward to another great weekend and week of football. Thank you.
Thank you. And just one last thing. Giddy up!
Call the law, baby.
There you go. All right, guys. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, have a good night.
Good night.